Team USA loses to France in their first game of the Tokyo Olympics by a score of 83 to 76. And the reason why I took so long to come out with this reaction is because I actually had to wait until I finished seeing the replay of that game because I didn't see it live. But it is not hard whatsoever on who to finger point on this loss. It isn't. I've seen many people say that the loss is on Durant, Lillard, and Booker, but I argue that Devin Booker, I think, should get a pass for today, despite going 1 for 6 from the floor. I think he should get a pass today simply because it's pretty reasonable if he didn't play at his best today, since this is the first time that he's stepping on the basketball floor, or any basketball floor, since the heartbreaking loss in the NBA Finals. And that is potentially the worst moment to happen to Devin Booker in his NBA career so far. So I can understand Devin Booker not having the best performance today. But Kevin Durant, who many say is the best player in the NBA right now, in my opinion, though, the best player in the NBA shouldn't only be scoring 10 points in Olympic competition. I mean, Team USA is portrayed as the best in the world, and Kevin Durant, if he's going to be known as the best of the best, no reason that he only scores 10 points in Olympic competition. Damian Lillard only scoring 11 points. And Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard, the two players that were expected to step up the most for Team USA, as the Team USA roster for the games this time around, it's not as stacked as it has been before, especially back in 2008 or 2012. I mean, there's no Steph Curry, LeBron James, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, no Anthony Davis, no Paul George. And the list can honestly go on and on. No Carmelo. So those two, the two best players on your team, there's no way that they should be going 7 for 22 from the floor and only 4 for 15 from from the 3 point area. And give credit to Jrue Holiday, though, the leading scorer for Team USA today with 18 points, and also to add in 7 rebounds and 4 assists. Well, here's a huge difference in this game. One of the huge differences. I talked about just a moment ago Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard being the two best players for Team USA. Well, here's the two best players for France. And Evan Fournier and Rudy Gobert literally carried France today. They did what Durant and Lillard should have done for Team US and put the team on their back. Fournier had 28 points leading the way for France. Huge down the stretch. Rudy Gobert had 14 points, and he also had 9 rebounds and was a huge presence in the paint all game long. So, France ultimately deserved to win this game. The U.S. deserved to lose it. Especially with the U.S. being up by, 7 points with 3.5 to go, and they allowed France to go on a 14-0 run to end the game. Well, is it time to hit the panic button for Team US? Ultimately, I feel like you could consider it, but their next two games in group play, they are quite winnable. And I'd say if we see them struggling in their next game, even if they only win by 6 to 8 points, then we could probably hit the panic button, because with the way that Team US has been playing this whole time, especially in the exhibition plays, losing to Nigeria and losing to Australia, not even covering the spread against Spain, a lot of it surrounded the fact that they didn't have their full roster and they were still waiting for Devin Booker, Chris Middleton, and Jrue Holiday. Well, I can give you the Drew Holiday thing, considering Holiday was the best player for Team USA, as once again, 18 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. Booker, as I said, I feel like it's pretty reasonable that he didn't have the best performance today. I mean, Tatum was pretty disappointing with only 9 points. Hopefully, we see Jason Tatum step up in the next game. But, as I said a moment ago, luckily the next 2 games for Team US pretty winnable. So, but with the way they're playing right now, there's no way Team US is going to get gold. There just isn't. And I'll even say this. I think with the way things are going right now, I don't even think Team US is going to medal at all. As this is the most beatable Team USA team that we've seen in the Olympics in a long time, if not ever. Because you don't truly have the stacked roster that you're used to seeing. Your best players, Kevin Durant, well, reasonable. Kevin Durant would probably be arguably the best player, even if you had a lot more stacked of a roster. And Damian Lillard is your number 2. But you're talking about having Jason Tatum at a potential 3rd best player and a Devin Booker being your 4th, Drew Holiday being a 5th. Honestly, Drew Holiday should honestly be a starter for the next game if he's going to be the leading scorer coming off the bench. So I think that's got to be a move that maybe Team US should consider. But that is all I'm going to discuss here. Although another final takeaway could really be, many are talking about Team US having 12 turnovers, but France had 14 turnovers. And honestly, I'm not surprised that France made this a game. I mean, France did what they had to do when you're an underdog against someone like US, when we're used to seeing Team USA being unbeatable. You just got to stay in the game, and France did that from start to finish. Gobert, a huge presence in the paint. I figured that Gobert in the paint was going to be an X factor in this matchup. Fournier was big down the stretch. And that is all I'm going to discuss. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you next time.